learned how to clip this part out, which is cool.
You look way taller than me.
I don't know why.
I don't know. Whatever.
All right. Hey, everybody. This is John with Buff Since Birth. How you all doing? Decided to do kind of a special thing today. Why football? You know, and why do we watch? And you know, I'm watching preseason and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, why in hell do we watch a team that we don't even like or can't stand or whatever, but you're still watching even preseason, and you're like, why am I think it's just because we're so damn starved of football by this time that we'll watch anything just to hear the whistles or hear the hits of the guys and stuff. What do you think, Gary?
I think everybody watches it for different reasons. I don't watch it for the whistles.
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
No, I just like the sights and sounds, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sights and sounds of football type thing. So that's why I watch. I don't know. I think it's the. I think it's because I've just watched my whole life, and you just get so used to enjoying this time of year, and you know you have the fall coming, and I can't believe it's here already. This year's gone by so freaking fast. It's crazy, but yeah, that's. I mean, I watch it because that's what my dad did, and that's what we did on Sundays, and it's just that I think it's ingrained in us in America, like it is in Europe with the football. You know, they're brought up with it, and so they love watching it. You know what I mean? It's just something I love, and so by the time this time of year comes around, it seems so long, even though the year goes fast. I'm like, I'll just watch anything. I don't know. That's how I kind of look at it.
Yeah. But I mean, I even found myself watching XFL and USFL, so
Wow.
I understand.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. You were saying that you kind of watch it because you have certain players you watch more than anything.
I'm not like he'll watch every preseason game that there is, and I'm not necessarily like that because I have the teams that I love. Well, I have the team that I love, and they're unfortunately not great. But I have players that I watch, and I also love college football. Like college football is one of those things that I'll watch. I'll watch like lots of games that have nothing to do with my division or players that I like, just to kind of see if I could find that diamond in the rough. But when I'm watching preseason football, I'm really looking at the rookies, the guys who were undrafted, or maybe they were drafted. Whether it's the top of the draft or the bottom of the draft, but I like to see the success stories, the underdogs pull it out. I mean, my football team, the Arizona Cardinals, is a major underdog, and they almost always are. And so I've just grown up rooting for that guy. And, you know, there's always some really cool story. There's some guy who wasn't expected to do well, Brock Purdy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
Who really does something. So I have my college teams that I follow. I have different players that I follow. And when I'm watching preseason, that's what it's about for me, is to see who's going to make the team and what that team's going to look like this year. And then when you get to regular season, you know, I watch every Cardinals game, usually Monday Night Football because it's Monday Night Football.
For sure.
But other than that, if I find myself watching a game, it's because it's a team that's in my division that I hope does poorly, or there's a particular player that I root for. A good example was I like to watch Josh and the Bills. I think he's sick.
Yeah.
I love the way he plays, and I think that team's got a lot of promise. I also like the Bengals; they're kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Josh I love a lot. Josh Allen, you know, he played at Wyoming, and just kind of being around Colorado and stuff like that, I would watch him. You know, I'd watch CSU games or CU game or whatever, and if we played Wyoming, you'd see this guy play, and I'm like, that guy's special. Even at Wyoming, it was crazy. And then he goes to the Bills and just kills it. And then the Bengals is another story where you didn't. I mean, we knew the kid was good, but everybody was like, you know, he's good, but I don't know. But man, he flashed, and nobody. Joe Cool just surprised everybody. He's like, goes to the Super Bowl right away, and you gotta love him. And then you got you have Patrick Mahomes, which I can't stand the Kansas City Chiefs because I'm a Bronco fan. You could care less because you're not in that division. But I grew up hating the Raiders, and then secondly hating Kansas City. And it just, there are division rivals. But when you watch Patrick Mahomes play, like him or hate him, that dude is unreal. It's just like Tom Brady. I never liked Tom Brady, but there's just no doubt that he is probably the best football player that ever played.
Wow.
And I think the second best is Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Not because he was a Bronco, but just because he did a lot of special things.
Well, that's an argument for another video, but as far as what you're talking about, like Brock Purdy, I'll bring him up again. I'm not a Niners fan. The two teams, because of my division that I can't stand, are the Seahawks and the Niners. But to see the Brock Purdy story, first off, he's a local boy from here in Arizona, so that's exciting. But just the overall last pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, kicking some ass. Like that is awesome. I'd like to see that.
Third string comes in and takes them all the way to the playoffs. Now, that was really fun to watch because I could really care less either way for San Francisco. I mean, we have one nice thing was John Lynch and in the Shanahan connection to the Broncos, but it was nice to see him succeed, but it wasn't something that I became a fan of San Francisco because of that. But I became a huge fan of Brock Purdy because of what he did. So that was pretty cool to watch for sure. Especially being a local boy at Gilbert here. And so that was really fun to watch and it was really cool. Fitzpatrick is another he's another local Gilbert boy. But yeah.
Yes.
Nice beard. I can't grow
that guy made a career, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Like,
now he's
I know.
Fox or something crazy.
I'm just saying, he was kind of always the forgotten quarterback and just kept working, man. He's that blue collar football player. But as far as why football, I think it's like the military. You were in the military, so it's different to you. But what I can imagine, and my father's retired Marine. What I imagine is that you have that group of people that all have that common goal, and you'll fight for each other. And there's the pride that comes along with succeeding in your mission. You know what I mean? And I got your back, and it doesn't matter what other differences we have or problems that we have. We're both Cardinals fans. We can sit down and have that conversation, and we're going to battle with our team every Sunday from the stands or from the sofa. But it means a lot to us, and the only people that get that are other Cardinals fans have felt that exact pain. And I can imagine that goes for any team, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And the Cardinals, frankly, if we're taking the military analogy, we're France. We haven't won a lot of victories. And I say that because I'm French.
Yeah.
But we haven't had a lot of victories. We've had a couple of glimpses. We've sniffed a trophy before. But it's still a hill that we haven't climbed. The Broncos have climbed it a couple of times. The Patriots have climbed it more times than anybody else in the league wants to admit.
I'm a Buffalo fan, and we haven't done anything for so long. Yes, we had that championship run in '89-90, but we haven't done really a whole lot since then. I mean, we've been ranked and that kind of stuff, but we really haven't climbed that hill, and certainly for the last 15 years.
That's a good point. That's a good point you bring up. It's been since the 90s, early 90s, that you guys have had that success. And so with Dion coming in and everybody jumping on the bandwagon, it's got to feel awesome to welcome all those people who want to join your army. Mm-hmm. But there's a special place. There's got to be just this kinship that's built with the people who've been there since the gritty, dirty days of 1 and 13 and whatever it is, That's got to feel pretty special to know that you stuck it out. You didn't jump the bandwagon. You didn't go somewhere else. So that's another part of it,
Yeah, and that's what's weird is why like last year I remember every year. I tell Gary, maybe this year. Maybe this year.
That's every sports team that doesn't win.
Sure,
every sports team.
But 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 I still, and you were gracious enough to watch a few of them with me, but I still watched them get beat by 30 points every week.
Yeah.
I still watch the games, and Gary would be like, all right, it's like third quarter, I'm out, and I would still finish that game because I love the Buffaloes that much. And it's a weird thing, but I love it because my dad brought me up loving the Buffaloes and the Broncos, and and then you have I think a lot of people also watch for the backstory, watching an Alfred Williams and a Brock Purdy or Cordell Stewart.
Who's the guy that's on your team this year who is one of the only returning members who fought his way back and is kicking some butt? You said
Charlie Alfredall.
Yeah.
He's a running back. He was a walk-on last year, made the team, did well. He walked on again this year and has completely killed it. Worked his way back and worked his way onto the team, and he's just done a phenomenal job. And then Trevor Woods is another one, and then we have our center. And for some reason my brain isn't working, but there's about 3 or 4 of them that when Dion came in, and the controversial, all right, I'm bringing my luggage and it's Louis, and if you don't feel like you could do this, then hit the portal. And the thing is people didn't watch the whole video. They just took that snippet, and then everybody's like, "Oh, he's a mean guy. He kicked all these people off the team." Well, I just look at these few players that did stick around, and you go, "Well, you know what? The NFL's an elite league to get to, and it's percentages, and a very small percentage does make it to the NFL." And you had a very small percentage that made Dion's expectations, and decided to stay and work it out, and now they're playing on the team. One of them is the center, and he's going to do fantastic this year, and I don't know why I can't remember his name. But
well, then that's what I'm talking about. That's the story I want to follow.
The backstory.
I only care about Colorado football because of you. That's all I care about. This year they're in Arizona State, which is my team. They're in the same conference. Next year they won't be.
Yeah, they are. Big 12.
Oh, that's right. We're both going over there. That's right.
Yep.
Well, and then I care less, right? Because I want Arizona State to succeed. But
Sure.
I want you to do well. I want you to be happy about that. But I like the story of the guys who stuck it out when the new bigwig came in and laid down the ultimatum, and they said, "You know what? I trust in my abilities that I can make this team, even though he's got it stacked with his own favorites." Versus the alternative of going to find another school so I can get playing time because I don't believe that I'm good enough. So that to me says a lot about their character. It says a lot about their confidence. So that's the
and
stuff
their
I
work
like to
ethic
look
and
at.
their dedication.
Can I be honest with you though?
Sure.
There's another group of players that I'll be interested to see this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the players who did go into the portal because they were displaced by Dion's group. And I personally, I don't know. I mean, if that story came out of that guy who, left Colorado because he didn't think he was good enough or was told he was not good enough, and then goes to another team and then really shines.
But I will say
that's exciting to me. I want to see that too.
For sure. But I will say that one of the content, I think it was DNVR, did a graphic on the players that left, and I think there was only 1 or 2, maybe 3 that actually stayed in the Power 5. The rest of them went to a smaller division school.
Well,
and
then what if they shine? I mean,
I
how
hope
many
they do.
How many
I
times
do.
do you see the people who go to the small schools that actually do something?
No, and I
know
hope
what I
they
mean?
do.
So that
But
could happen.
but my point was that that's why they were 1-11 last year. They were subpar players, and they didn't. I wouldn't say deserve to be on, but I don't think that they were up to the talent level and commitment that a Power 5 school has, and I think that's why we've been horrible for a long time.
I'm going to give you an example, though.
Okay.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
Hassan Reddick
Okay.
played for the Arizona Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals did not put him in the right position. He did not do great. He went to the Eagles, and now he is a dominating factor and everybody is saying that the Cardinals made the biggest mistake with him. The
No.
big mistake was not him going over there. The big mistake was that the Cardinals did not know how to manage him and use him to his fullest potential. Isaiah Simmons just got traded today to the New York Giants for a 7th-round pick. He hasn't done anything in the first 4 years, but there's a chance that in New York's system, he's going to do great. What I'm saying is that graphic, throw that away, because you can't tell me that there isn't a possibility that there were a handful of players who were either surrounded by less than great talent or less than great coaching, and because of that didn't have the opportunity to grow where they were planted. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So there could be a couple of people that if they had been in Dion's program could have been great. And we don't know that because they were relegated to the team and the coaching staff that the Buffs had last year.
Sure.
So I think that there will be 2 or 3 that if Dion could look back, he'd go, well, fuck, I wouldn't mind having that guy. Do you know what I'm saying?
And
you don't know.
One of the great examples of that in that team was Montana Lemonius Craig, who played for CU for a few years, and actually I think he was really doing well and shining, and he decided to go to Arizona, and he's one of the few that actually stayed in the Power 5, and I think that's going to be one of those examples of, man, we should have really maybe pushed to keep this guy around a little
Well,
longer.
you know what? We'll come back to this video in February when we know what happened in 2023,
And revisit
right?
it,
And
yeah.
then we'll see what, because none of us can predict the future, but that's just another reason why football.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
football? Because who knows, man? There are so many storylines. There are going to be 2 or 3 teams that are your TCUs from last year, right? There are going to be a couple of teams that are usually ridiculously awesome and then for some reason fall out. There's going to be somebody that's picked in the top 10 who right now nobody's even picking to be in the top 3 levels of the draft. Like these things happen. Everybody's talking about Caleb Williams, like, oh, I'm crossing my fingers for Caleb Williams for the Cardinals if you want the honest truth.
Yeah.
But like somebody could supplant him as the obvious number 1, right? The next Trevor Lawrence or whoever that is. Or he could have just a really down year or whatever happens. The Cardinals could do better than expected and not get the first pick. I mean, that's why football, because it's exciting and you have people that you can sit and talk with about it.
Yeah.
And just don't go crazy. You hear stories about game days, how domestic violence goes through the roof. And this is an actual statement. So if you look, there are statistics that domestic violence goes up exponentially on NFL game days. And that's because some people just take it too seriously.
Yeah. It is, at the end of the day, just
It
a
is
game.
just a game. I mean, for these kids, it's their livelihood in the future, and the NFL players are taking care of their families, and that's all important. But to you and me, we're fans, and it sucks. And feel free to sit in your room and cry and swear that you're never going to watch another football game in your life. Yes, that's me. But don't take it out on other people, and you need to find an outlet for that.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many times you've come in and been, I hate sports. Sports suck. I'm out.
Yes.
And then the next Sunday, you're sitting there with me watching the Cardinals game, and and going to ASU games with me.
Yeah.
And I'm an ASU fan, except for when they're playing Colorado. My daughter went there, and I've been here 20 years. And so I do. I'm a big fan of the Arizona sports teams as well. I think a lot of people do adopt that. I'll always love my Colorado teams, but but I love them both, and that's another thing. And I think that's like you said earlier, you're the reason of that. A lot of that as well. One thing you brought up earlier too is the fact that it's a team. We were lucky enough to have Michael Irvin come to our camp because Dion knows everybody, but he said something interesting. He said, you know what, golfers, they hit a hole in one, it's that guy. Baseball, guy hits a home run, it's that guy doing it. NASCAR, even though there's a team sport to it, that guy's winning that race. In football, it's a team, it's a team sport. The running back isn't going to break a run unless they make a hole. You know, it's a team sport, and I love that part of it because I think it actually teaches even young people a really good lesson. You work hard and you join a team and you make it your family, and same thing with the military type thing you were saying. But that's one thing I love about football, and that's why football for me, it's a team thing, and whistles.
Yeah, I
Whistles.
guess
love the whistles.
if I were to put mine into summation, it would be that I feel like there's a lot of bad crap going on in the world. There just is. We all know it. I'm not going to get all political. There's a lot of bad stuff, and there are a lot of bad people out there that are doing bad things to good people. And so I've always had that mentality of I'm going to root for the little guy, the Davy and the Goliath fight, right? I'm always going to do that. And, I guess if my team ever became the Patriots, let's say the Cardinals get Caleb Williams and all of a sudden they go on a 20-year streak of just being incredible and not missing the playoffs for more than, 1 year ever, they would no longer be the Davy. But I'd always remember that we were at once the Davy, and that we took the time to work out and to hire the right people, and exactly.
Buccaneers, there's a lot of teams that, you were talking earlier about, I think, was it the Lions or the Colts? The Lions.
The Lions. Yeah.
You had to explain that because that was a really
good point. A fact I heard is that JFK was assassinated, and I think it was 1962, 1963. He's only missed one Lions playoff victory ever. That is something to be said.
So that's the last time.
But I'll tell you right now,
Colts made the playoffs. That's sad.
I'll tell you right now, who out there would bet against the Lions to make the playoffs this year? Absolutely not. And could I see them do more than that? Absolutely, I could. I think that they have the team around them. I think that they have the coaching staff. They've got some holes for sure, but look at that division, and that team is hungry. They do not give up. So I'm going to root for the Lions. I'm not from Michigan, never been a Lions fan. I love Barry Sanders and Billy Sims and, a few players here and there, Megatron.
Sure. Right.
But that's a team to look at. But that's what I'm saying, man. Football is never being down forever.
Right.
That's what it is. Football is never being down forever, whether that's a team or a player.
Any given Sunday, right?
Any given Sunday.
Or Saturday.
And it excites me, and, you have these amazing stories of these players who come out of nowhere and change their lives and change their team's existence and reputation. And then you have the really sad stories of the guys who don't get the chance and, something happens before they even make it to the NFL
or Rashaan Salam, who made it to the NFL, broke his leg, never played another down.
Yeah, we don't want to put that out in the world, but there's just sad stories like that.
There's just, but there's a ton of stories like that. But he did make it to the NFL. There's a lot of college players that will never touch the NFL,
And you know what? If they enjoyed their college experience, and they got to go to school and get that degree and make all the friends and have that camaraderie for 4 years, I don't think that's wasted effort.
Oh, no, by no means, and that's not what I'm trying to say, And Michael Irvin, who did a really amazingly inspiring speech yesterday in front of the team, that's one thing he brought up. He's like, enjoy this now. Enjoy this. Don't take every day and just go through it. He said, you are going to talk about these times the rest of your lives. He said, Dion and I talk about our football days in college all the time, and pros. And he said, this is the journey. Enjoy this. Enjoy the journey, because this is, the game days are fun. That's the fun that you work for.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that as a musician. I mean, practicing hour after hour after hour, learning to play a song with a band or whatever, and then the performance is the fun part, because you put in the work. You put in all those hours to learn how to play an instrument, then play with a group of guys, and then all of a sudden you're at a gig, and it's the most fun that I have. So it's the same thing. That's almost a team thing. It's not sport, but that's the only example I can relate to because I have zero athletic ability. I could never play a sport. So, but yeah, he said enjoy this because you will love it the rest of your life, and you'll talk about it the rest of your life.
Can I just say one other thing? Is it's not just about enjoying the time; it's about learning from it.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's, again, I'm going to take it to the military. Your time in college football, what you will learn that you can take out there to the real world outside of football is the same as what you're going to learn in the military and take outside of the military. Because what did you do? You helped fighter jets land on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
That's what he did. There's not a lot of call for that outside of the Navy, guys. But
True.
What did that teach him? It taught him, discipline. It taught him always to have his eyes open for the safety of himself and others. It taught him it taught him the communication skills. The same thing with football. When you're in there and you're going to battle.
Sorry, guys, our camera cut off there, and I had to clip this in. But anyway, but me, why football? Because of that Invincible scene, where the dad's like, watching Bergie and all those Philadelphia Eagle games got me through bad days with your mom dying and bad days at work and everything that was going on, and I honestly can really relate to that because I've had a really bad 10 years, and one thing that got me through a lot of these bad years is just looking forward to Saturday with the Buffaloes and Sunday with the Broncos and the Cardinals and other games and knowing Monday night, Sunday's over. Man, that sucks. Oh wait, we got Monday night coming. Sweet. Now we have Thursday night too. So those days got me through an immense divorce and more than you can even know that I had to go through. So that's why football for me. It makes me feel good on a day that I probably had a really shitty week. And I bet there's so many people out there that can relate to that. What do you think?
For sure. I think there's 500 reasons or 5,000 reasons why people watch football. And I would love it if you would make a comment on John's video here and tell us why football for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And another thing is we want to do a video in the future of those stories. The story of the year that you remember, the one where you go, oh my God, can you believe that actually happened? The Brock Purdy, right? Or the guy who comes back from
the Kayvon Williams. He did so good this last week. I mean, Kayvon Williams ran a couple big runs, and this is a guy trying to make the team. And man, that kid absolutely killed it, and I was so impressed with him. And the only thing I could think is his lady called the Kayvon lady? I had to.
Please ignore that, or comment on how much you hated it in the comments as well.
It's so funny. I think it's funny.
But what's your story,
Yeah, what's your story? What?
I mean, last year, a guy dies on the field and then comes out this year. There's so many things. What is that story?
Yeah, that was crazy.
We'd like to focus on that. We'd like to come up with those stories too. So he'll continue his Buffalo commentary and all the Buffalo news you need. You follow him. But once a week I'll try to join him and we'll get into just general football talk, and that's what I'm here for, because you don't want me to be your Buffaloes expert, because all I'll tell you is please sit out all of your starters against ASU.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting experiment. Everybody thinks they're going to go 1-11 again because
nobody thinks that.
No.
Nobody thinks that. No, nobody thinks that.
No. You say you're not a Buffalo. All right.
Nobody
I don't
thinks
know
that.
how. Yep, there have been literally commentators.
There are
no.
clowns that comment stuff like that
Sure.
just to get views.
Nobody,
if you sit down, believes they're going to go
They've had analysts on ESPN and NFL
to get clicks,
and probably, but they've had coaches even come out and say, yeah, they're gonna do horrible. They may win 2 games and do horrible. So it's interesting, but there are people out there saying that and doubting us, and it sucks. But us Buffalo favorites and fans of Dion and Prime and all that kind of stuff. We hope it's going to be a good year. So, and I hope that your teams are going to.
Well,
you're saying that, but you don't watch the content that I do.
No, listen. I'm not saying that nobody said that. I'll take that back. But I don't think anybody believes that. I think that's the same as when Kevin Durant came to the Suns and everybody said that was a horrible move. It's Kevin Durant. He's top 10 all time.
Right.
It's not a horrible move. Now, you can debate whether or not the chemistry is going to be there to win the championship, but you can't say it was a bad move to get Kevin Durant.
Right.
So it's just silliness for anybody to say that you're going to get one and mean it. So if there is some pundit out there who really would put their hand on a stack of Bibles and say that the Buffs are going to win one game, you are delusional and need to stick to field hockey, because that is
Right.
you have absolutely no clue. And I am not a Buffaloes fan. I'm not trying to raise you guys up and yay Colorado. There's no way. Like, at worst, you've got 3 games in you. I think you'll do better than that. But a 1? Come on,
Yeah,
these
it's
people.
stupid. Yeah, no, it gets frustrating. But
That's
it'll be
ridiculous.
interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, definitely comment on what Gary was saying earlier. I'll try to get some more content out. I've been really sick, so
Please subscribe.
please subscribe and like and definitely comment. And thanks for watching Buff Since Birth. And we'll see you next time. Laters.
Peace.
Okay. I'll have to clip that. Sorry, guys, our camera cut off there, and I had to clip this in. But anyway, but me, why football? Because of that Invincible scene, where the dad's like, watching Bergie and all those Philadelphia Eagle games got me through bad days with your mom dying and bad days at work and everything that was going on, and I honestly can really relate to that because I've had a really bad 10 years. And one thing that got me through a lot of these bad years is just looking forward to Saturday with the Buffaloes and Sunday with the Broncos and the Cardinals and other games and knowing Monday night, Sunday's over. Man, that sucks. Oh wait, we got Monday night coming. Sweet. Now we have Thursday night too. So those days got me through an immense divorce and more than you can even know that I had to go through. So that's why football for me. It makes me feel good on a day that I probably had a really shitty week. And I bet there's so many people out there that can relate to that. What do you
For
think?
sure. I think there's 500 reasons or 5,000 reasons why people
Sure.
watch football. And
Sure.
I would love it if you would make a comment on John's video here and tell us why football for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And another thing is we want to do a video in the future of those stories. That the story of the year that you remember, the one where you go, oh my God, can you believe that actually happened? The Brock Purdy, right? Or the guy who comes back from
The Kayvon Williams, he did so good this last week. I mean, Kayvon Williams ran a couple big runs, and this is a guy trying to make the team. And man, that kid absolutely killed it, and I was so impressed with him. And the only thing I could think is his lady called the Kayvon lady? I had to.
Please ignore that, or comment on how much you hated it in the comments as
It's
well.
so funny. I think it's funny. You
But
just
like,
think
what's
it,
your
but
story?
anyway. Yeah, what's your story? What?
I mean, last year a guy dies on the field and then comes out this year. Like, I mean, there's so many things. Like, what is that story?
Yeah, that was crazy.
We'd like to focus on that. We'd like to come up with those stories too. So he'll
Absolutely.
continue his Buffalo commentary and all the Buffalo news you need. You follow him. But once a week I'll try to join him and we'll get into just general football talk. And that's what I'm here for, because you don't want me to be your Buffaloes expert. Because all I'll tell you is please sit out all of your starters against ASU.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting experiment. Everybody thinks they're going to go 1-11 again because they
Nobody thinks that.
No.
Nobody thinks that. No, nobody thinks that.
No. You say you're not a Buffalo. All right.
Nobody
I don't
thinks
know
that.
how. Yep. There have been literally commentators.
There are
and, no.
clowns
They may not
that
think
comment
it.
stuff like that
Sure.
just to get views.
They've had-
Nobody, if you
no,
sit down,
no.
believes they're going to go
They've
1-10.
They've had analysts on ESPN and NFL
To get clicks.
and probably, but they've had coaches even come out and say, yeah, they're gonna do horrible. They may win 2 games and do horrible. So it's interesting, but there are people out there saying that and doubting us, and it sucks. But us Buffalo favorites and fans of Dion and Prime and all that kind of stuff. We hope it's going to be a good year. So, and I hope that your teams are going to.
Well,
you're saying that, but you don't watch the content that I do.
No, listen. I'm not saying that nobody said that. I'll take that back. But I don't think anybody believes that. I think that's the same as when Kevin Durant came to the Suns and everybody said that was a horrible move. It's Kevin Durant. He's top 10 all time.
Right.
It's not a horrible move. Now, you can debate whether or not the chemistry is going to be there to win the championship, but you can't say it was a bad move to get Kevin Durant.
Right.
So it's just silliness for anybody to say that you're going to get one and mean it. So if there is some pundit out there who really would put their hand on a stack of Bibles and say that the Buffs are going to win one game, you are delusional and need to stick to field hockey, because that is
Right.
you have absolutely no clue. And I am not a Buffaloes fan. I'm not trying to raise you guys up and yay Colorado. There's no way. Like, at worst, you've got 3 games in you. I think you'll do better than that. But a 1? Come on, these
it's
people.
stupid. Yeah, no, it gets frustrating, but
That's
it'll be
ridiculous.
interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, definitely comment on what Gary was saying earlier. I'll try to get some more content out. I've been really sick, so
Please subscribe.
please subscribe and like and definitely comment. And thanks for watching Buff Since Birth. And we'll see you next time. Laters.
Peace.